Go. So today I'm going to talk about introduction to template apps in Power BI. How many of you are familiar with Power BI? Okay, a significant amount. So template apps is currently in public preview. It's going to be GA'd in June, which means next month. I'm going to go over what it means to you as a partner with Microsoft, as a developer, or as a consumer who is using Power BI. So just a quick introduction. I'm Ron. I'm from the Power BI team that is developing this feature. So the life of a business analyst is going through these steps, right? You get a certain amount of data, you analyze it, you visualize it, hopefully with Power BI, and then you publish it to your organization and maybe have some other people collaborate, right? We usually do this within our organization, or we're somewhere along this pipeline. We may be people that are using Power BI and want to share it within my organization, or maybe, and that's the notion of this particular feature, maybe I'm a SaaS service provider, or I'm that good of a data analyst that I want to provide other people to leverage my analysis over their own data. Okay, and this is the point where we're introducing template apps. Okay, template apps. The whole noise. I think. Can you still hear me? Okay. The whole notion of template apps is to enable partners, and that's Microsoft partners, to accelerate customer acquisition. Okay, the reason we say customer acquisition, sorry, is like I've mentioned. If I'm a SaaS service provider and I want to push my service to the data provider or some analytics that my company excels in, I want to provide an easy way to onboard customers into my own service. Okay? So there are two sides to the coins. I'll start with the first one, the partner side. Okay, the developer side, the builder side. Okay, what I'm going to show you soon enough is we provide you a new, easy experience to start from a workspace in Power BI, and then create every artifact in Power BI, reports, dashboards, tiles, data flows, everything that Power BI gives you. Package it all together within a template app, and then distribute it either with a direct channel to your customers or through AppSource as our storefront. And on the other side, as a consumer, as an installer who is using it, basically I'm getting everything that was packaged from that original workspace, but then I can get it from the marketplace, install it in my own tenant, and then my own storage account and everything in Power BI as if it were my own content. And moreover, I can easily connect my data to the reports that were created by somebody else. And that's the reason it's called template, because basically you get a template of an app to which you connect to your own data. Okay. Most of the experience here is codeless. We are providing some APIs to interact with more advanced solutions. If you can come after and talk to me about it. I'm not at liberty to discuss timelines right now, but it's coming right after the GA in June. Okay. Basically, like I said, you start from a Power BI workspace, you package your own content. One thing that template apps give you right off the bat, because I'm sharing my own content, my own intellectual property maybe with somebody else, is a control environment that I can control certain Power BI and data aspects that I don't want to be shared with the end user in case I have some high-level queries, maybe some algorithm I don't want to the customers to be able to share outside his organization, or maybe there's some monetization aspects that come into play that I don't want breached. Maybe some branding. We do provide an easy release management UI and experience. I'll show it in a way real soon. And from a installer perspective, you get a workspace, you get an app, you can connect to your own data, you can collaborate with people inside your organization, and it's all self-service. Of course, that last one, as an administrator for a tenant, I can control what goes in and out from my tenant, and to this extent, I can govern who can build app and send data outside my organization, and who can bring data inside my organization. So let's go ahead and see a quick demo of the builder experience. Now you guys can see, right? I'm in Power BI. I'm in a workspace that I've created before that I wouldn't go into more details, but basically it shows the shark attack statistics from, I think, 2017 or 2016. Okay? We're not going to dive into that, but basically, let's say I've created something that is worth sharing outside the shark attack victim community. All right? So again, it's a workspace. It's a template app workspace. I just click Create App, and I'm going to go through this quick wizard to see how I'm actually using this app. Okay? I can create a custom icon, a branded color that I can use. For obvious reasons, shark attacks are related with the color red. I can designate an app name and a description. These will be shared with the end user. I can designate the content, the landing page that I want to be the front page of my application, the first thing a user would see when he accesses it. The IP protection settings come into play in that control tab. Okay, these are some of the features. They're increasing in time, but I can maybe restrict the data access to the underlying data of the app. Maybe the mashup and mQuery scripts that I don't want to be shared by the end user. I just want somebody to get the actual data ingestion. If my app or my data sources require some parameter settings, I can provide some default ones, maybe force the end user to provide their own credentials and parameters, or I can provide them my own. And the last one is I can control who can access the app inside my organization in case I want to invite some extra testers and people like that. I'm just going to click Create App. And in the background, what happens is everything within my organization, within my workspace, is packaged, and all I got is this: your app is ready. Basically, the most important thing here is obviously to remember we're in version 6. It'll soon be, you'd soon be see why we're in version 6. But this URL right here, if I were to send it to anybody in my organization right now that I've given access to, they can install this app as if they were outside my organization, as if they were a user, okay? And that's one thing. The next step would be to go to this release management pane right here, and I'm just going to explain some of the steps. We've started with a workspace right here. We've created a test version of this app, and if you look closely, I think you can see version 6. Okay, this was just created. I can, again, get the link back and obviously delete this version. But the most important thing here is this promote. Okay, promote basically, until now, this test app was inside my organization. I can test it, I can do whatever we want. I can create a whole bunch of those. Obviously, version 6, because we have to make sure this works before this demo. But version 6 is the 6th version, right? So promoting, when I promote a test app to a pre-production app, what happens is this link right here can be now shared outside my organization to anyone in basically that has Power BI anywhere. And as soon as they click this URL, the app would be installed in them. And later we'll see what it means for an app to be installed in your tenant. But this link would also be what would be published to the app source, to the storefront. All right, you can publish this in your website to have a direct access, and you can publish it to app source and have it show as part of the showcase of apps that are already available in Power BI. The next step would be, after I've maybe submitted it to app source, it goes through some validation because we can't allow any app to be in the store. But as soon as it's published to app source, I'll just promote it, and it sits here in the production stage. And the nice thing here is that I can go ahead and create another version of this app, maybe change some features, maybe call it, I don't know, this new version of an app. Okay, it would be created, and people who are consuming my production app from app source would still be able to use it because the production app is there until it's overridden. Okay, and I can go through the whole cycle again and update and update and update and keep feeding new versions to my users as they go. So I'm just going to go back to the slides here. So again, going through the steps real quick, I start with Power BI Desktop because this is where I create my contact. I usually want to templatize my data sources for it to be templatized, for the end user, for them to connect to their own data. Within Power BI, I maybe add a report, some reports, dashboards, create my test package, promote it to pre-production, submit it to app source, get validated, create, go live in app source, and then promote it to production on my side. The update is the same story. We've just seen it. I maybe modify some content and start the whole cycle again. For what's available now before template apps is usually you would have to be an owner of a SaaS service to publish what was previously called a content pack. You had unrestricted content, which means whoever installed the content had access to it. They are now the owners. You didn't have any protection over your IP. You had to manage your versioning via only the PBIX files you used, and obviously no governance for administrators. With template apps, every person that can create any content in Power BI can templatize his content and submit it to Power BI and App Source. Great example, one of our first apps was a private consulting company that built an app over Google Analytics, which obviously he's not Google. So if you have a solution over some kind of data, you can templatize it and sell it as your own solution. Like I said, we offer governance, we offer IP protection in case you're interested in saving your IP with you, and the release management pane is new in terms of experience of sole service release management. Just to jump to the other side of that experience is the consumer side. I'm just going to use the same user for that purpose, but if I were to go to Power BI and there you go. And this is App Source. This is our storefront. Everybody that has Power BI can install those. I'm just going to look for, let's say, GitHub. That's a new one. It's not that responsive. There you go. So GitHub is a template app that was created to obviously serve people that own their content over GitHub. If I were to click this Get It Now, I would be redirected to Power BI using that URL that was created in the builder experience. I'm just going to consent here that I'm actually going to install this app. And what happens behind the scenes is whatever was packaged with from that original workspace is now deployed to my own Power BI account. And soon enough, I'll soon see. I think the network here is slow, but I would soon see a new app show right here as a GitHub app. Okay, we're not going to wait for the network to here, but some of the sample apps that we've had are that we can see. So any app comes with this experience. Again, you have a new workspace, you have a new app that we just saw, and I connect it to my own data. I'm just going to explore the app. This app specifically contains just one report, and this is my own report, and everything is okay with it, but it does contain some data, and I haven't connected it to my own report yet, to my own data yet. What we see here is sample data that was packaged with that workspace, with that template app, to allow for people that are not sure they want this application, maybe they want to just experiment with what it contains, we can use it over some sample data. But if I were to go back, and let's see, the workspace, I still see a message that I'm viewing sample data within my app. If I were to connect to the data, this dialog would pop up, and here I can put in my own URL for that Axelo service, okay? And then, for instance, this would be my Axelo account URL, or a Dynamics organization, or a GitHub repository, or whatever. And I'd put in my own parameter values here, and then the whole data just shifts and gets this data instead of the sample one. At which point, I just own a Power BI content over my own data, and I can use it like any other Power BI content. So I think we're out of time in terms of the session itself. Just some useful resources if you want to grab some of the links. We offer, the documentation is already out. Like I've said, we're going to be GA'd in June. You're welcome to sign up as a partner in the Cloud Partner Portal. You can find any app that already exists in the marketplace, in app stores. And that's it. Any questions? Okay, so for now, still in preview. Every installation of a template app would create a new workspace and a new app. But as soon as we're GA'd, one of the experiences is you would be able to get updates to your own installed content, which means every report changes and dashboard changes, and obviously data set changes would merge into the pre-installed workspace, okay? But that, again, that's coming at GA. Yes. Content packs are going to be deprecated. If you're a content pack owner, please contact me right after. I can show you what are the steps. We have communicated to most content pack owners what is the deprecation path, but basically no new content packs are created, and older ones are either transitioned into template apps, or for lack of usage or interest are just going to dissolve at deprecation. Okay, so if you're an owner of a content pack, please come to me right after, and if you're too enthusiastic of or afraid that your favorite content pack is going to be deprecated, then contact me too, and we'll make it work. Right? Thank you.